Oh yeah, dramatic music because it's election day. Well, it's the fall, and elections are drawing near. It's still September, but it's September 30th, and the election would in person be in November. But you can have a mail-in ballot, or you can vote early. Now, this is my wife's ballot. I haven't opened it up and torn it up, but to save a little time, I've already dug through my ballot, which a mail-in ballot and absentee ballot are absolutely the same thing. There is no difference. And so in Illinois, we had a law change that anybody could get a mail-in ballot for some time. And I have done this before, and it's just convenient to stay home to get it done and know you voted and you're done. But you can go to the Peoria Elections Office. Right now, it's on Brandywine in Peoria. And vote there in person. There's early vote locations going around the county. There'll be in Elmwood on Monday, October 26th. It'll be from 10 to 6. You can go down there. Anybody in the Peoria County can go to any of the early vote locations because the databases are interlinked and they can pull your record up and they can mark that you voted. And if you have actually gotten one of these ballots, they will have a record that you requested to mail in. And they will not let you vote unless you either surrender the ballot because it's spoiled or whatever. But they will know. So let's take the outside envelope away and let's see what's in here. I have this piece of paper. I have this card. I have the ballot itself. And I have the secrecy envelope. The secrecy envelope is to hold the ballot when you have filled it out, and then you're going to put that envelope inside of this to return it in the mail or to return it in person. Because there's a drop box on Brandywine that they built, very secure drop box, and you can just go drop it in. You can void the mail all completely, but usually the mail between Elmwood and Peoria is pretty accurate and pretty reliable, but and you don't have to put a stamp on it because it says right here they will pay the postage. It's a great deal. So you got these things. The fourth thing, which hasn't always been in your ballot, is this. It's called ballot tracks, and on here is information about how you can receive notifications of your ballot. You can check to make sure they got your ballot, and there's a place you can sign up on the Peoria County Votes website, Peoria Elections website, and they can notify you by email, text, or voice. And that way you can keep track of your ballot, make sure it was received. Our ballots that are in the mail-in are going to be optically scanned, and we've all taken standardized tests, or at least people my age have taken them. And you just fill in the little boxes and make sure you colored the boxes, and you don't have to be too careful about whether you use number 2 ink or number 2 pencils or ink. I mean, just color them in. Stay in the box as best you can, and it'll get counted, and they're going to be fed in and counted quickly, and the optical scan's very accurate. Now, the other thing that's good about getting a mail-in ballot is often when you look on the back, sometimes there's races you didn't know you were going to vote for, and here's one. There's a little yes and no referendum on Headington Oaks, which apparently is a county nursing facility, and I didn't know that was on there, and so to be an informed voter, before I fill this out, I'm going to get out on the internet and go to like Peoria Journal Star, or the news channels often have it. I'm going to search and find out what this little referendum is about. Otherwise, I probably won't vote in it. But I have the opportunity to do that here, sitting in my own dining room. And especially good for older people whose eyesight, like my 98-year-old mother-in-law who lives across the street, she can't see very well because of her macular degeneration, and she needs good light, and the machines are hard to read. So she gets a mail-in ballot, and she can sit down at her kitchen table, and she can see it and then fill it out, and that's how she's been voting for several elections. So the secret here is that you requested it if you want to vote mail-in. The other option is there's early vote locations around the county, and you can go to any of those, but the one in Elmwood would be on October 26th, Monday, from 10 to 6. Or you can wait till the election day of November 3rd, and they'll be at the Methodist Church again, and it'll be from 6 in the morning until 7 at night, and you can go vote in person. And the main thing, if you have moved and you don't actually live in the house you lived in, even though you only live down the block, you should have updated your registration, because the idea is that they want to know it's you and you live where you say you live. So, okay, everything else should be pretty self-explanatory on this. Once you decide who you're going to vote for, once you filled it out, you're going to put it in the secrecy envelope, and they're going to take these out when they get them at the county. They're going to put all these envelopes, and you can see, now you can't see your ballot now, there's a little hole, so they make sure there's a ballot in there, but they can't actually see who you voted for. And they're going to be stored until they're ready to be run through the optical scanner. Now that used to happen at 7 o'clock when the polls closed, but there's a lot of people mailing in the ballot, and they may have changed the rules this year in Illinois, and they may allow them to start earlier, but no results will be released until after the election is closed. And if you know that they've gotten your ballot, and you know that you're going to know that your vote was counted. So it's very simple. Now, this is the envelope you have to return it in. There are some places to sign, but some of them you don't have to sign if you're returning it yourself. This up here, it says printed name, authorized agent, signature of authorized delivery agent, signature of voter. If you were going to have somebody return your ballot for you instead of just putting it in the mail, then you would have to fill that out. The person who's going to bring it back for you would have to sign it. And so they're going to compare your signature and then make sure that the person who delivered it signature is there as well. But if you're just going to mail it back, you don't have to do that. If you're going to deliver it in person, you could drive to the county election thing. You could give it to them in person. They would take it, or you can put it in their drop box, which is a very secure drop box, also in Brandywine, and that way you're bypassing the post office. Yeah. But the post office is pretty good between Elmwood and here. Okay, now there's another signature. My mother-in-law is 98. Her eyesight has been failing, but she can still see well enough to fill out her own ballot. But I've urged a lot of voters to get these and quit coming to the polls because they couldn't read the screens, and these are so much easier. But if a person is maybe blind or impaired in some way, then a relative can help them vote. And at the polls, you would sign an affidavit. But here, you're going to sign who's helping. The name of the person who's rendering the assistance and their signature is going to be on here. So they say, yes, I helped them fill the ballot in, which can be done at the polls by them signing an affidavit. Okay? And then, so if you're just me and you're voting your own ballot and you're going to take it back yourself or you're going to mail it, you don't need to fill in those things. So what you do need to do is down here. You got to fill this box in. You got to sign it because they're going to check your signature. When they get this, they're going to compare your signature to the signature they have on file. And they're probably going to hold it upside down because it's easier to see that the signatures match that way. And you're going to have filled in the date. And the other options are you put your phone number and an email. And it would be good to put a phone number and email because they could contact you if you fail to sign it and say, hey, we got your ballot, but there was a problem, so it doesn't hurt to have a little information because see, your name is here. So they're going to know who you are, but you haven't signed it, and it's not going to count. They're not going to put your secrecy envelope in unless it's signed. So that just staying in contact or following it with this new system of the ballot tracks, those are ways to keep track and make sure you got your ballot. But once you fill it out, once you've returned it, once you've been able to study the races and know you've got who you want, your vote's secure and it will be counted. And it's a much easier way for some people to vote, and certainly safe in your own home. So hopefully that will help you if you're deciding what to do with your mail-in ballot or to get one, which there will still be time. Or I want you to know that you can go to these early vote locations, and the county website, peoriaelections.org, has all this information, and everybody should vote. Thank you.